Ryan Day acknowledges the linguistic link between Daniel 8 and 9, the basis for the year-day principle.
But let me show one thing that I really wanted to get to. Let me ask you a question. You went to AFCO. I know you went to AFCO. I've
Sure.
gone to AFCO too. I did the 4-month training there. Do you recall in AFCO when they taught us about the what's called repeat and expand? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you recognize that there is such a concept in the book of Daniel?
Of course.
Repeat and expand. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to show us. I'm going to show something here. So what we're seeing here in this screen is a parallel between Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Daniel 8, and Daniel 9.
Sure.
So you asked earlier, why do we apply it, the day-year principle, to Daniel 8, the one that we apply to Daniel 9? It seems to be you agree that the day-year principle is appropriate if it's talking about Christ as the Messiah in Daniel chapter 9. So your question was, but why do we connect that to Daniel 8? There's multiple ways to connect that, but I think here's one of them, where you see what we understand is the repeat and expand concept is when Daniel 2 mentions something, it doesn't give you all the information. So then Daniel 7 comes around and you see an obvious parallel between the two, but it gives more information. So it repeats what Daniel 2 said, but then expands upon it, right? Same thing happens in Daniel 8, same thing that happens in Daniel 9. When you look at the parallel between Daniel 8 and 9, you suddenly see a clear parallel between the two time prophecies in Daniel chapter 9 and Daniel chapter 8, paralleled with the judgment scene and the kingdom being set up in Daniel chapter 2. Why? Because before and after each of those two, you have a continual parallel. So one of the ways to connect Daniel chapter 9, Daniel chapter 8, and that's despite the fact that the evening and morning prophecy wasn't really explained to Daniel in Daniel chapter 8, because it says that he fainted. He said the part of the evening and the morning is true, but he then go ahead and none understood it, he said. So where's the connection? Well, in Daniel chapter 9, the angel comes back and begins his prophecy with time in the same way that he ended, same angel, with time in Daniel chapter 8. I guess my question would be, do you at minimum see a parallel between 8 and 9 in regards to time prophecy? If you go all the way from Daniel 2 to Daniel 9.
I do see a linguistic connection between 8 and 9 based on the fact that the mare, the vision, the mare that Daniel passed out and didn't fully understand, that mare is repeated by Gabriel in Daniel chapter 9. Here, Daniel, I've come to give you skill and understanding, consider the vision, the mare. So there definitely is a linguistic connection there, and I recognize that.
So, and I guess that then we agree, at least at that point, that there is a linguistic connection between the two chapters, which I think essentially was you were asking why do we connect the 70 weeks if it's a day-year principle there and make it a day-year principle in the 2300 in Daniel 8. And I was trying to actually show that linguistic connection, and I see you agree there's a linguistic connection. So